I'm live. I'm live. Great rise in the moonlight, beloveds. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what this is. It's your girl, Queen Goddess, King Advocate. Great rise, Facebook. I'm live on YouTube already, so y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is, right? Queen Goddess, King Advocate, Melanated Monday, here to do what we do. Every time we do what we do it, right? So let's do it again tonight. I'm going to give you here. Remember that I'm looking at two different platforms. Let me see my eyes wandering. That's why. Bear with me. I hope all is well with you all. Give you a minute to get in here and get yourself situated so we can continue our conversation this evening. I'm going to try to wrap up this part of it, but if that's not the case, then that's not the case. We'll be here till we're done. Trying to make sure I got this in view, complete view, so you all can see and see how to see what I'm about to be trying to sell y'all. Okay, for real, for real. Robin! Oh my God. Great rise. Beloved, long time no see you. Glad you're here. Appreciate you. I was thinking about you today, matter of fact, so I'm so glad that you showed up. Hopefully you can stick around and participate in the conversation. It's going to be, well, it's going to be what it is. You know how I do. So this is a continuation of, I think has it been 3 weeks, 2 weeks at least, that we've been talking about healing the Black man in particular. And I'm going to go off into healing the Black woman. So I'm going to try to wrap it up tonight. Hopefully you all will call in and participate in the conversation so we can have some back and forth questions that can be asked and answered, comments, concerns, or experiences. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, okay? And I'm just asking for those people who get this message to receive the message and share the message and live the message, all right? Like, we here not to just get information, but to share the information, to live it. Most High's willingly, that's what's happening. So I'm going to give folks a minute. Somebody else is on YouTube, so show yourself so I can greet you properly. People are a little bit slow over here on Facebook. Somebody's here, but I don't know who it is. But whoever it is, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you. But whoever is showing up, please let me know who you are so I can greet you properly. We're going to get started here in a little bit. The Observer! That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, loved one? Thank you so much for being here. And so I know last week was the first time that you were here, and I was so grateful that you showed up and that you left the comments that you did and shared your experience with us. Very humble. And I'm absolutely humbled that you showed back up this evening. So thank you very much for that. Keisha, what's going on, loved one? I see you. Thank you so much for being here, beloved. I appreciate you. We got some other folks coming on in here. We'll give them time. We'll be patient. We'll give you time to get on in here so we can start this conversations, communication. That's what we want to do. We want to have communication, no more conversations. Okay, communications and exchange of energy. Let's do that. Shall we? Can we agree on that? We can agree on that? Okay, so while we're waiting for people to come in, y'all see it, okay? You see it. This is one of my creations, okay? And it says, "I am the solution." On purpose, with purpose. The hoodie is available in black and white, and it's also available in the shirts. You can get them on my website, or if you want to inbox me directly, I give you information and you can get them directly through me. This is part of the movement. Okay, the message is the movement. I am the solution. On purpose, with purpose. It goes with anything. Whatever it is that you stand for it. All right, know that you are the cause and cure of whatever it is. What you're saying. I'm happy to be here with you and the whole family. I hope you are doing well, family. Absolutely. Y'all greet my new friend here. Y'all greet him. That's family right there. The Observer. Is it a fun guy? deliberately wasn't saying the first part because I didn't want to mess it up. Is it fungi? If that just so I don't mess it up. All right. So let's just go ahead and get started. We got people over here. I don't know who all else showed up over here on Facebook. I know you're there because I see you. But hey, Great Rise, I appreciate you. Okay. Gotcha. All right, loved one. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So, as you know, this is the third week of the topic on healing Black men. I will continue this next week, but we're probably going to go ahead into the women and then do it as a collective. What all we need to do. So, what affected and infected in our relationships, the unhealthy thinking and movements, what you all have been conditioned to do and or not do, how to think, feel, all that in your relationships, and how those things have caused a blockage for the most part in our communication. And I want to go a little bit deeper tonight, if I may, and give you a little bit of history on some things and how it still infects us. Okay, and I'm saying that deliberately, how it still infects us. So let's get it. Miss Carla, I see you, loved one. Thank you for being here. And happy belated. I don't know if I told you happy birthday, happy Earth Day, but happy Earth Day. Days after the fact. Good. Order one. Okay, so this evening I felt it necessary to write some notes because there's so many things. And you all hear me saying all the time, or mentioning all the time, this particular book, not my own, but the book called The Making of a Slave. It's the Willie Lynch letters, The Making of a Slave. And how it discusses the process of making a free Black man and Black woman into slaves. How the whole process, has caused a continuous disruption in our family, in our growth, in our individualism, in our collectivism. All of that is necessary to know, or at least get a clue as to why you all are in a state of emergency now, why you all are in a state of, I'll say, frozenness, why you don't know what the hell is going on. You just continue to do what you do and think that it's normal because that's all you know. But there's a reason why these things have happened. There's a reason why you think certain thoughts, why you experience certain emotions, why you behave in a certain manner during certain situations, or when things trigger you. There's a reason for it. So let's talk about it. And if you have any questions, ask your questions. And if you want to call in, I'm going to open the phone line like immediately. So if you want to call in, the number is 770-906-5271. Again, it's 770-906-5271. Okay, let me read your comment first. It says, I am aware I will hurt a lot when I read that book, but I have to learn what was done to our family, so I have to read it and be a better Black man by understanding the cause, as you say. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I went back in today and reread it for myself. Again, took some notes. And I want to start with, let me put this in your ear. I'm going to say this. In order for anything to be broken, it has to start off whole. In order for anything to be broken, it has to start off whole. Okay, and I'm saying that to you men in particular right now, remember that in order for it to be broken, it had to have started off whole. Keep that in your mind. Okay. So first we're going to deal with the methods that were used in order to divide us. If you're not familiar with Willie Lynch at this point, Willie Lynch wrote a letter to the slave owners in, I think, 1712 to give them instructions on how to maintain, first how to make a slave, then how to maintain the slave for economic purposes. It was always and has always been and will always be about the money. Okay. So he gave instructions on how to do that. And it was very specific on how to do that. And some of the ways that were used was to create a divide based on age, based on color, being by shade, intelligence, sex, size, the size of the plantation that they lived on, the status on the plantation, so the status that the slave or the to-be slave had on the plantation, the attitudes of the owner, where they lived, if it was, in the valley, on the hill, in the hood, around the block, whatever, northeast, southwest, whatever, the texture of their hair, the color of their hair, the length of their hair, their height, if they were tall, they were short. They used man against woman, woman against man, light skin against dark skin against light skin, the old against the young against the old. Anything you can think of, these were used as methods to divide. These were the tools that they used to divide. When you talked about the attitude of the owner, how was that used? Well, what happens is the slave began to take on a defensive psychology, if you will, of the overseer, of his overseer. That's my master. You can't talk about my master like that. Psychology. Okay, it was a type of indoctrination that occurred, and because it was continuous, it refueled itself. So you have a generation that is under this hypnosis, if you will, and because it's practiced, it's said continuously, it becomes a repeated cycle. And I repeated that deliberately so that you all would remember what I've said about things being repeated and how the brain processes that, how the mind processes what it hears continuously, what it does with the information. The more you hear something, or the more you see something, or the more you do something, the more it is processed as a fact or as a habit. It becomes that. You receive that information as fact. Then you begin to feel some type of way about that thought that you have, right? Then you will respond in your behavior based on how you feel about the information that's in your subconscious. Okay? That's important for you all to know. To remember, this is a cycle, it's repeated. So the indoctrination of it became the refueling cycle. Okay, let me know if I miss anybody, if I'm losing anybody, please let me know. I don't want to lose anybody. Okay, John, what's going on, loved one? I appreciate you for being here. Another one of the major tools was to make sure that there was a distrust and that there was envy. Those were like the two main tools, if you will, that were used to maintain the divide. Distrust, we still have that. Okay, we don't want any of us that look like us to trust any of us that look like us. Okay, but we are conditioned to put all of our trust in the overseer that cause us to distrust one another. Okay, it's part of the plan. Don't trust nobody that look like you. No. But you can trust me though, right? You can trust me. You can trust me, but don't trust nobody that look like you. I got you. Whatever you need or want, I got you. Trust me. Okay, so that's where the psychology comes from. Can't trust me. Can't do work with, I don't want to say the word. Y'all know what I'm saying. What's going on, Patricia? Thanks for being here, loved one. I appreciate you. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? Okay. I'm trying not to be all over the place because it's a lot of information. So it may sound a little bit scattered, so forgive me for that. But like I said, the purpose was for the Black man in particular not to trust any other Black person and to only depend on the overseer, which is the Caucasian man. Okay. Now, the process of doing that was to break him like they broke horses. Like they would literally tie a Black man to a horse and treat them exactly the same way. Okay. The purpose is to get both of them out of their natural state into a different, it's like changing one life and getting put into another life, or changing life form and being put into another life form. This is however you are naturally is being changed, okay, into another one. And to reduce you from your natural state of nature. So the things that you know naturally, the things that you do naturally are no longer natural. They're gone. It's like they're way back in your subconscious, which is why I tell you it's important to unlearn what you've been taught and remember what you know. We must get back into the state of remembrance because we know it already. We know everything we need to know. We just need to remember it. Ms. Carla, I'm going to read your comment in one moment. Again, to reduce them from the natural state in nature, because nature provides man with his natural capacity to take care of his needs. So the overseer must break the independence and create codependency on him. So what that means, again, is to break the natural already knowing what to do, the connectivity between man and nature, to break that connection and cause him to be dependent on the man, so he can be controlled, basically. It's like steering. You know what I'm saying? You don't go where you want to go. Don't go where you know you should go. Go where I tell you to go. It's like that type of thing. Make you codependent on me. So I'm gonna steal you away or take everything out of you that is innate. I'm gonna take it out of you. So you just left your puppet. You don't know what to do now. Okay. So now you must do what you're being made to do. You must move the way you're being manipulated to move. Okay. You've become a puppet, basically. Okay. Does this go to everybody that look like us? Yes. But I'm specifically talking to the men because y'all are the focus. Okay. But this is how it starts with you all. Like I said, we have to go back into some history that's ugly in order to get right here, because this cycle, this process was created so that it would last 400 years. Mind you, I said this was written in 1712. So you add it up. Also to keep in mind that the Black man in particular, even now, is looked upon as irrelevant, unnecessary, unless you are able to produce economic stability for your overseer. Okay. This is how you were perceived. This is how you're still perceived. You ain't shit if you ain't making us money. Let's just keep it real. Okay? That's how you're perceived. You ain't shit. You ain't no good to nobody if you ain't making us some money. Why is it important for you all to get off your ass and do something for yourself? Do something for your own family. Learn your own trade. Get back into your natural state. Do something with your hands, because that's how you're created. You have a natural trade in you already. Utilize that so you can be your own man. Okay? You can be your own business. We're going to get off on that. But anyway, just know that. Now, as far as, again, I'm jumping around a little bit, but as far as the women are concerned, before I do, let me read Ms. Carter's comment. Ms. Carter said, this is true, Kim. Lots of Black people still have this mentality. That's why we have so much self-hatred among Negroes. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. It's embedded. It's embedded. Okay, so with the women, what happens with the Black woman, what was happening with the Black woman at that time, the men were taken out of the household and they were tortured and killed, brutalized, shredded apart, literally in front of the woman and the male child. Obviously, this caused a psychological fuck up, if you will, with her and with the son, with the male child, because they made sure it was in front of the male child. Give me a moment. Should have had my tissue. But yeah, the men were literally like tied to two different horses and set on fire, and the horses going in opposite directions. And this was happening in front of the woman. The woman had a natural dependency on her man. It was natural. What happened when she sees this type of thing happening to her man, she goes into a state of, she's frozen. Her whole psychology is, she's stuck, like, what the fuck now? You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything that she had, everything that she depended on is gone. She's left by herself. She's left with not having anybody to depend on. She's left to try to figure things out. Then she's got to raise her son. You know what I'm saying? She's got to raise her daughter with nothing else to depend on. But she got the overseer there. The overseer moves in, if you will, as the new baby daddy husband. He's going to take care of her, but he's taking care of her for his own good. Okay? Because she witnessed this type of brutality, the way she would normally raise her children with the father there, because she depended on him, she would raise her daughters to also depend on him. She would raise her son to be independent, to stay independent. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the man did. That's what his position was. That's who he was. He was independent. He was strong. He was working, whatever. He was the head. He was it. You know what I'm saying? He was doing the damn thing. And now that got stripped away from her. So now it's like, she just out here. So again, she's going to now treat and raise her children in opposite roles because of what she witnessed. So she witnessed the man being tortured and shredded and killed out of fear. She's not going to raise her son to be a strong man. She's going to raise him to be weak in the mind. She's going to raise him to be passive. She's going to raise him to be behind her, to have to be raised, if you will. She's going to treat him completely opposite of what's natural for him because of what she witnessed. She's going to treat her daughter now to be independent because that man is not there. That man is no longer present. She watched what happens to an independent man. She doesn't want to see another independent man be shredded in her face. She doesn't want to see another independent man killed in her presence. So she steps in the forefront. She's by default put in the forefront. She puts her son behind her. So now he's dependent upon her. The roles have switched, and she's dependent upon the overseer, the system, the government, whatever. She's dependent on something outside of her man, of what's natural, because he's not there. Same thing happens and has happened in history when you have leaders that stand up and say, we not doing this shit here. Nope, we're not doing it. We standing up, we're gonna fight your ass, we're gonna rebel, whatever. Anytime, pay attention to it. Anytime and every time a Black man stood up against what was considered normal and economically feasible in a system or whatever, he was made an example of. This is what you don't do, Black man. You don't rebel. You don't show your ass. You don't try to talk to me like a man. This is what you don't do. Every time. History has been repeating itself, and we're not paying attention, or we don't know what it is that we're looking at. It's repeating itself over and over and over again because we're just not getting it. We're so caught up in what we feel and how we feel and the fact that we feel that we are completely missing all of the facts. We're missing all of the information. So it's repeating continuously. But this is how we got y'all here. Okay, this is how you end up being in this particular state. So now all of that has happened. Going back to the mind real quick. The mind is like an entity of its own. It don't do whatever it wants to do. But it also has the ability to correct itself. It will recorrect itself. So in order for it to be safe for the overseer, it was necessary to make sure the mind, the brain, the mind didn't have the necessary information or tools it needed in order to correct itself. How do you correct? You have the information. You have some historical background. You have some identity. You got some facts. This is how you correct a wrong, is by knowing. So they made sure he didn't know nothing. Made sure history was wiped out. Listen to the word. Made sure history was wiped out and gave him his story. Did somebody catch that? Made sure his story was wiped out and gave him his story. His story is exactly what that is. The man, and I'm only talking to the men, but it's everybody. The man has been conditioned to take on the mentality of his overseer. This is passed down throughout the generations. He's been conditioned to think like a white supremacist man. Now, if anything goes wrong with any of these platforms, y'all know I'm telling the truth and y'all know what's going to happen. Okay? So if one go out, get on the other one. The YouTube is Queen Goddess, the King Advocate. Okay? Look for that. Because y'all know what it is. I lost my thought. Sorry about that. But this is really difficult for me also to talk about like straight, because if you're hearing the information, it's got to do something to you just hearing it. And if you can process it, it's going to fuck you up. to just really pay attention to the history of it. That's what we're talking about, to the history of what was going on, and to how it's still infecting us to this day. So again, going back to what I was saying about history, the history that we think we know is not necessarily our history. It's his story that we have been indoctrinated and conditioned and trained to accept as our story, when our story is simply a mystery. It's a mystery. My story. Look at the wording. My story. That's what it is. My story is a mystery. What we're being taught is our history. Ain't it? I don't care what you think you remember. Okay? Did you hear me? No matter what you think you remember, it ain't that. So anyway, back to dealing with the woman, and I'm gonna do something else too about the language. Maybe I'll do the language first, and then we go back to the woman. So you have the history that we just cleared is not ours. The language. I speak on this all the time. The words that we use, the words that we know, that we communicate with, have more than one meaning. We're taught in school to learn the definition of whatever word we're given, but we're taught the first definition of that word. Only one definition are we taught. Why is that when there's a gazillion of them? There's many definitions to one word, but we're only taught one. And that's because that language that we're taught, the teachers of it understand what's being said. We don't. It has a completely different meaning when it's being said than when we're saying it. So when you're going back to slavery a little bit, when you hear people say we going on working on our plantation or our crops and our this, that, and the other. Okay, the slave master, let's just keep it real. That's what it is. The slave master was okay with you saying this is our plantation and our crops or whatnot, because you had no idea what the hell our meant. As far as you're processing it, because there's some feelings and all of that stuff, there's a connection now that has been created between the slave and the slave owner. There's a connection now and some loyalty, if you will, that has been developed. So when you say our, again, remember all those different divides. When you're saying our crops and our plantation, it gives the slave the idea, the psychology that he owns something, that he's equal to the slave owner, which makes him or will put him in a different mental state of being passive and okay with what he's being given, with what he's being told, with what he's being shown, because his mind has processed, I am equal to or almost equal to my master, because these are our crops. These are our plantations. These are our slave Negroes. You know, it's like whatever, field Negroes. These are our. No, they're not. Same language being used in politics. Ain't going through that right now, though, because that's a whole lot of shiggity. What's going on, Kevin? I see you, loved one. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I hope that I'm not throwing anybody. Like I said, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but the information is so much to know, and it's repetitive. You know what I'm saying? Like it keeps happening. But you all have to understand where certain mentalities come from, where certain behaviors come from, why they're repeated, why we are here right now, why it's time to get the information. Go back there and get it again. Go remember the information is back there. Go get that. Remind yourself of the truth, because you know what it is. It's instilled, even though they erased it out of a book. truth occurred before it was ever written. Okay, it's in here. Go get it. Okay, before it was ever written down, you already knew. So act like you know. Okay, go get the information. It's important that you know what you were dealing with throughout the generations, because these things are being passed down. We talked about trauma last week. Those traumas are passed down. All this slave history is a trauma. It's being passed down. The information that they learned, they thought they knew, whatever, is a trauma. It's passed down. You are now receiving it. You've received it. You have received the conditioning. You have received the language. You have received the thoughts of the overseer generationally. It's been passed down, and it's become genetically now embedded. So now when you have a seed, when you plant your seed, it's going to be attached with the history that ain't even yours. Let me know if it's too much. Let me know if it's too much. Going back to the woman. So like I said, as she sees, her man being torn to pieces and he's no longer there, she's left alone. She's unprotected. And she's frozen. So like I said, it causes her to raise her children in opposite roles. So the male child will be raised to be dependent on the woman. The woman child will be raised to be independent of the man. Do y'all see some connection to what's been going on these days? The man is dependent of the woman. So you have many of them who won't do nothing. And I'm not talking about all men. You have many men who won't do anything. Those are the ones that may just be sitting at home waiting on, wifey, girlfriend, whatever, to come home, or needs to be treated like mama, like that's his mother, or whatever the case, because it's being passed down. The woman who has now been conditioned to be independent of the man, that's the one who's now saying, I don't need no man. That one. Okay? These things are being genetically passed down. You all have had so much trauma throughout history that it's ridiculous. You have no idea who you truly are, because the information that's been given to you as history is not correct, is not yours. Your identity that you know to be you is not you. You are living through the identity of what they told you you were. You are recreating his mentality. You have become the overseer when it comes to your woman, because he has taught you how to be an overseer. He's taught you a white supremacist male behavior. So you're living that subconsciously. You don't even know that's what you're doing, but that's what you're doing. And because that's what's happening in a lot of our relationships, this is why there remains a divide in our family structure, because the man does not see that he's duplicating what was done to him throughout generations on overseer. Now she got to look at your ass, who she depended on in the first place naturally. You doing the same thing he was doing. She's rebelling against that. She doesn't need another overseer. We don't want that. We don't need that. We need the man that you were created as, the God being that you were created as. Let me read your comment. The overseer says, yes, fam, the male is taught to not trust his own psyche, and capabilities, because it is to be the case that he makes no decision confidently on his own. Absolutely. And the females are taught to push away from us. Absolutely. We're taught to push away from you because we're shown that you're going to be pulled away or that you're going to walk away, which comes in with the brute mentality. So the brute mentality is based on the big cocky guy, the big cocky dude that impregnates every woman that he possibly can impregnate and get the hell on. No connection. Like I said last week, the hit it and quit it. Maybe don't even look at it while you're hitting it, hence the doggy style. We ain't gonna go into no in-depth nothing. But all that, hit it, drop off the seed, be out. That's the product. Give the product to the master. That's the economic stability right there. That's what he needs from you. He needs you to do that. That's it. But yeah, so that's the brute mentality. It's so much, y'all. It's so much. It's so much. But you all, give me a moment. You all are so angry and hostile emotionally, psychologically, but you're not knowing really where it came from or who it needs to be directed toward. So you're directing it toward the one person, the one being, the one family, the one unit, the one collective that you shouldn't be. And that's your Black woman. You're doing everything to her that Massa did. But you don't see it. It's been done to you so much, it's become part of your natural makeup now. I should say unnatural makeup, because that ain't naturally who you are. We're going to change some things. Lynn said there's always a reason for everything. Indeed, there's always a reason, but sometimes the reason is decision. Sometimes it's just that simple. It's just that. Yvonne, I see, beloved. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I don't want to ignore anybody. I see everybody that came in. But sometimes it's just that. And I'm saying it now because we're in an age where whatever we need to know, we can know. But a lot of us choose not to know. We choose not to try to find out, the real information. We don't want to remember the real information. We just go off of what's been given, and it's been given for centuries. You know what I'm saying? Like we just keep repeating it. We're not doing anything different. If you all want to call in, share your thoughts, comments, concerns, questions, just talk. The number is 770-906-5271. 770-906-5271. If you would like to call in, I would love for you to call in because I hate talking to myself. Not that I am, because y'all are participating, so I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, just want to make sure I'm not missing any facts. Which I'm hitting everything. I'm getting it. It's all over the place, but I'm getting it. Okay. At this point, do you all have any information? Any questions? Let me read your comment. You said I'm gonna have to run to the store, so I will have to come back and watch the live. While being a few minutes behind. Thank you for covering this important. Absolutely, fam. No worries. It'll be here. It'll be here. Do you all have any questions at this point? Any questions, comments, or concerns? Something that I can address directly? Again, tonight's topic is still part of the healing of the Black man. I can dig it. It's still about the healing of the Black man, and it was necessary for me to go into some history so you have a clue as to what the hell is going on in your mind, why it's there, why you are so defensive, why you won't speak your thoughts, why you won't release the emotions, you know what I'm saying, why you won't do certain things, because you're conditioned not to. You're taught not to. Sean, I see you coming in. Thank you, loved one. Appreciate you for being here. You're conditioned to have the mentality of the master, of the slave master. You're conditioned to have the mentality of the white supremacist male. You behave in the same manner as he, to your woman, to each other, because you're you may be dogmatic to other brothers for whatever reason. Stuff that don't even make sense. He stepped on your shoe. Now you want to shoot the brother. I mean, really? You know what I'm saying? You do shit like that. Why? Because that's part of the divide. Your shoes are better than his shoes. Your hair is better than his hair. Your waves are deeper than his waves. Your skin is lighter than his. You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit. It's just new age shit now. But it's the same shit. It's repeating. Because there is no conversation, there is no communication, there is no real education, there is none of that. We're not learning, we're not speaking with one another, we're not growing with one another, we're not doing any of this. We're staying passive and accepting all the bullshit that we've been given, wondering why our families can't stay together, why we can't create families together, why we're not even doing this. Like, we're not even families no more. We just relatives. We related. Our family structure, it's rare to see a whole family structure. Why? Bell Noon, I see you, loved one. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Why is that? Because of how you all are conditioned. It's an indoctrination that has been occurring continuously, but you don't know that consciously. And because you don't know it consciously, your subconscious repeats it. This is why we're here. This is why you all need to heal. Because your not knowing is hurting us as a collective. Your not knowing what the fuck done fucked you is causing us to be fucked. Let's just keep it real. Be honest. You know, I'm not going to watch my mouth. Y'all know how I do here. If you offended, please leave. Because I'm not. Okay? Y'all know what it is. Again, if you want to call in, 770-906-5271 is a call-in number. We have got to do something, and not just having the communication in words. We've got to do something to start healing our men, to start healing our women, to start healing our families, our collective, period. Our earth, our universe. We got to do something. Enough is a damn enough already. Real quick commercial break. This right here is the answer. Okay? I am the solution. I am the solution, on purpose, with purpose. If everybody had that overstanding that you are the cause and cure of whatever is going on with you, you can fix yourself, then you can fix it. If we just would get in that overstanding, things would change for us. Yoster, what's going on, loved one? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. If we would just get in that mentality, forget his story, and remember our story, that is at this point a mystery. Remember us, reconnect to us, heal us. If we would just do this. We're in that state now, like all this shit that's going on with the so-called virus and all this other bullshit, all this is happening for us to get to a realization of awakening and figure out who we are. Remember who we are and what we need to do in order to maintain us. We need you all, men, to heal. You have generations of trauma trapped in here that cannot come out of here because it's blocked. How it got blocked? Through the indoctrination. of the overseer, through the conditioning of the overseer. That those experiences didn't happen to him. So he don't have to block them out. So he's taught you how to block them out, taught you how to have the same thinking process as him. If you think like him, you'll move like him. You'll create like him. You'll give him everything that you do. You'll hand everything over to him, including your woman. Ooh, did I say something out loud? You'll hand everything over to him because in your mind, in your subconscious, you are him. You and your overseer, your master, your owner are equal. Because that's what you're conditioned to think. So because you're conditioned to think that you're equal to the master, to the overseer, to the owner, you pass these traits, behaviors upon your woman. You treat her the same way he did. I need y'all to think about that. Because it's not in your conscious, but it's in there. This is why I encourage you. See, I'm all out now, but I encourage you to get the book. You can even download it as a PDF file, okay? The Willie Lynch letters, the making of a slave, okay? It's making one. So he wasn't always one. Okay? Please. Okay, Lynn, I know that's right. Don't hand it over. But that's what's been going on. This is what's been happening. We need you all to heal. The moment you heal, the moment you come into a realization of the truth, of your truth, of our truth, is when your healing process can begin. Acknowledge what is going on here. Acknowledge let me rephrase that. Acknowledge his story that you've been told and taught. Acknowledge it and then question everything about it. Question it. Try to prove it. Does it make sense? His story has caused great infection in us, in you. Great infection. And your women are rebelling. They had a process for her as well to break her. There's a process to break the woman. She gets whipped, beaten, to be, how he said, to beat the little bit of bitch that's left in her, to beat it out. Sound familiar when you're dealing with domestic violence? You're conditioned to beat her if she seems out of line to you. What you say, Lynn? You say, I believe the man king should hand all over to the woman. Hand it all over to the woman. Then a woman takes care of the household and man's needs. Bet. Sound good? There's a process. I mean, like I said, in the beginning, because of the reversed roles that the male and female child were put into based on what the woman saw with her man, there was a natural dependence of the woman to her man. She was dependent on him. She was dependent on him. But because she saw what happens to a man who is independent, we're not going to repeat this here cycle. So son, I'm going to need you to be a punk. I'm going to need you to be soft and weak. You can be big and strong physically, but mentally, I'm gonna need you to be weak. I'm gonna need you to fall back. Get behind me. Let me do this. I'm gonna address Master and see if he'll give us permission or give you permission to do something. But you got to go through. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the middleman, woman. I'm gonna be the middle person. So as women, because of all of that, we continue to fuck up our men. We fucking them up in so many ways. Psychologically, emotionally, not allowing them to experience manhood naturally. Because we've been doing it for so long, have stepped into and maintained and tried to master the role of the man. That ain't natural for us. That's not natural. You know what I'm saying? That's not natural. But it's become that way because it's repeated. It's indoctrinated. It's shown what happens when anything other than that occurs. Made an example of. Fear, that feeling causes you to do something. Told you, fear and love are the greatest, the strongest emotions you can have. Fear and love. Just leave it at that. Fear and love are the strongest emotions we can have. They will cause you to do or not do something extreme. So the fear of the Black woman, the fear in the Black woman for the Black man being destroyed in her face if he remains a strong Black man that he is, has caused us to not allow him to be a strong Black man because we fear for your life. We fear for your life. So we protect your life with our own. It's like we protect your life by ending it. And that sounds crazy as hell. Not little Ray. But this is fact. We protect your life by ending it. And I don't mean physically ending it, but psychologically ending it. Not allowing you to live fully as a man. Psychologically, emotionally, out of fear. But y'all mad at us. You understand? I've heard so many people, so many men, and that's also on my YouTube page. If you want to look it up, I have a whole 3 videos that talk about the Black man's enemy being a Black woman and how some Black men belie that the Black woman is his enemy. Why would he think that? You know what I'm saying? Because he was taught that. He was conditioned to belie that. But y'all get angry with the wrong people, the wrong person. Y'all are angry with us. We part of you. You're part of us. We going through the same shit. What was done to you was done to us. And then y'all are doing it again to us. So now what we supposed to do? We're not trying to walk away from you. We're not trying to depend on something outside of you. But not having the information, the proper information and the skill to learn how to heal oneself causes it to appear to be something that is not. That is also part of the trick. That's part of the trickery. We have to heal. All right? We got to do something. Got to do something. I'm not going to keep you all. I'm not going to keep you. But I'll give you this too, something else to process when we're talking about the history and the thoughts that are often not your own. what has happened also is when our true history was wiped out, shaved away, as is mentioned, there is what's called a multiplicity of phenomena, of illusions that are going on, which means there are many realities, created realities that are going on at one time in our mind, because they're put there, and we've processed these things, each of them, as truths, as our truth, and it's absolutely false. Like, it's all made up. It's all made up. It's like they're all illusions of the things that we are battling one another about, because we think we remember some shit that we never experienced for real. It's an illusion. It's not real, but we battling each other. Wake up, y'all. This ain't our shit. This history ain't our history. This ain't our shit. Period. Thank you, Michael Williams Sr. I appreciate you, love. And I'm glad you enjoyed it and that it was informative to you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Be sure to come back next week too, because we're going to do the females then. D. Judah Ali showed up. What's going on, loved one? He said, you done woke me up now. Esau, the red devil, is the enemy by definition. We're definitely not each other's enemy. That's correct. Absolutely. We are not each other's enemy. We are not each other's enemy. We can't be each other's enemy. There's no way that we could be each other's enemy when we are one. We're the same. We can't be each other's enemies. It's just impossible. Period. Okay? You can choose to live a certain kind of way, make decisions that are just anti each other, but we're not naturally each other's enemies. So don't belie that, okay? No matter what it is that you're going through. And most of the people that respond to that have dealt with, certain quality of individual continuously in every relationship. I'm like, well, you can't be mad at what you pick, yo. You know what I'm saying? In every relationship that you in it. So what part of that do you take accountability for? Bell News says, hey, you doing your part with the info. We all just got to do the same. Absolutely. And care about making a change. But we have to figure out either the traditional mindset of a man with a woman was good. Let's see. Was good or bad, and make the adjustments from there. Absolutely. Again, I am the solution. I am the solution. You are the solution. Figure it out. What you gonna do? You are the cause and cure. It's that simple. You are the cause and cure. Be the solution. Get your hoodie. Inbox me. I'll give you the information, or you just go to my website and you can order it. MYOMYWellness.com. Comes in black and white. All right, loved ones. I so appreciate you all for being here every time you show up. Again, I'm doing what I do, and I'm doing what I love, and I love y'all, and you know that by now. I really hope that you all just don't come here just to get the information and then you do nothing with it. I hope that's not what's going on. I'm hoping that you are convicted by the information, that you are being provoked to do something with it, to cause and provoke a change. It is past time for change. We're right in the midst of it, though. You better know that for a fact, Jack. But we all play a part in that change. So make sure that you are doing your part. I'm asking that you all would share this video. Share all of them, but share this video. Comment on it if you like. I am the solution on purpose. with purpose is a movement. The message is the movement. I'm asking for your support in the movement. Okay. I will give you all the information if you're interested in purchasing a hoodie or a shirt in black or white, all sizes. I will give you the information. Just inbox me, whatever. If you want to follow me on YouTube again, I'm back over there. Queen Goddess, the King Advocate. Feel free. Okay, so make sure you click on the icon with the sword. All right, loved ones, I'm gonna get myself together. I got a session to do, counsel. So, yeah, I love y'all on purpose, with purpose, and I will see you next time I see you. Okay.